fellow Ghanaians, I come to you this evening. I come to your homes. Say, because fellow Ghanaians, Mohu, a year president, a cry, make an awesome. It is a Obekaya. Now, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Now, a press conference, Bisa, Anna, Waka, fellow Ghanaians, why will be of course, say a fellow Ghanaians, but now, President Bakope, and I know about it. Former presidents, Adogaga, Adushu boy, and ye, no was them now. Zamokaya, 2019, Anna, Yaria could ye woo, Kwabena 19, and ye, a deep era, a one for the FSI, Kwabena 19, COVID-19. Na Yarie, a baye, and ye, as a uti, His Excellency, former President J. Kufwa, was you, COVID-19 a by an idea. And another Danko Kufuado, Adudi, Adogagai, Adushu boy, was it born home power in managing a year the pandemic. Now, as I bring him Anna, the friend of COVID levy. In fact, 2021, Anna, you introduce you COVID levy. Kufuado, and then ABAN, former presidents, or more introduce you a year COVID levy. Now, COVID, you cry a coin, still. Na that's a year COVID-19 levy. In fact, na levy no yetiano niema ye no mu yanka say niema goods and services ampo any near importers enso ye de be import niema ye for free amount farmers e de bo man edi e bia wadwo ye say just 1% na levy near COVID recovery levy na 1%. What you say 1%? They say just can be 1% in this can be, but those who were doing huge importations, well, they were being affected. Now, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, eba bemun, and was say, start tax, obey abolish it because some critics cry and say a regressive in the sense that at the amongst the countries are COVID affected. Now, of course, some introduce a bill saying a few recoveries. You see, it was this same time, and Ghana you're raking in a lot of revenues from COVID because everybody wanted to support. It's near COVID-19 a year fund that amount for Eddie's cartoon. Well, abandoned the Juma, abandoned the ball, minor hobra. But still now some losses were incurred. And for that reason, NMI introduced our bill. Now, a year, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama on an ABAN, a bra campaign, a cost war before 2024 elections, and was say, Sir COVID levy, obey abolish it, obey free ho. Na enra ampa Parliament in fact in the 2025 a year budget reading going to 2026 I very effective Anna Kisela Forcing, who happens to be the finance minister present here to a Parliament, said that tax should be abolished. Now enra at the presidency and omade a year a woman a comma His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Say, you never can social studies. I say, an act, and as a law becomes an act when it goes to the president and then the president assigns his signature. Saudi social repeat that. And Diana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, or sent his signature, and just say, sa law no. And I said, bill no, you abolish it, and I said, you repeal it. In fact, any on a kind say, a boy, because Ghana is just among the few countries that still are COVID the terms to the NCA, that's what you COVID a year levy. And now, His Excellency at the presidency, the moment in 70 year kind after said, or I sent a signature.
This is the COVID Health Recovery Levy Repeal Act 2025. And it's my honor and privilege to sign to repeal the COVID levy. Promise made, promise delivered. And today is the 10th of December, 2025. Signed. Purported to provide free water, free electricity, free food, and a lot of things. And to the shock of most Ghanaians after the pandemic was over and after the elections were over, government slapped Ghanaians with a 1% value-added tax, ostensibly to recover what it's supposed to have spent on the COVID pandemic. Ghana continued to remain one of the only countries where we're being taxed for a pandemic that had passed. And so during the election, we promised that when the NDC comes to power, the COVID levy is one of those who repeal. A lot of Ghanaians have disliked this tax, and today I'm pleased that on the 10th of December 2025, I've signed the repeal act to remove the 1% COVID levy. And I will present it to the Clerk of Parliament.
Now, we are answer and we share a Peace Council. Now, you see, Peace Council for no, because some business say, Juma die ben pana o mudi. So, say, Momoye asundwe ekuo. Yewo yenuanom Muslimi fo a omo ka ho yewo yenuanom Christo fo a onom so eka ho. Se omo hwe ama asundwe ene pepepe yo aba ekuduam ha. Enso me no kasei boko ntokwa akoso na me de se ye mi nkwa me pemu dia anka me se ye mfa sa Peace Council omo ademudi a omo je anase wo omo sika a omo je no incentive a omo je no ana compensation omo je no ke mfa ma His Royal Majesty utumfo yewura if say yewura adwuman ono na ye ni nyina bokuntokwe ono na solve ye kai dabon entokwe ono na solve ya na issue ono na solve ye enso ye say o Peace Council okrum ha the only time I bet say Peace Council for ti wo nka they have been vocal ebra ye call elections really in this elections ma they are ntem nka and the enra at the presidency His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Ishia na ne nkomodie mu no ye nyina ye nim Shafiq Osman our legal practitioner the case court against Wesley Girls Senior High School Cape Coast in kaya wa file suit against the school no and then Attorney General and then Ghana Education Service say ene ma bi wonu mo a the Muslims student Wesley Senior High School no mo ekwan mo nye na eno na sabre no eba ene de ene Ghana ha obi aso mu eka ho asem bi obi a eka bi se Muslims for no so mo feel say school mo no mo nko ha mo pe school fro mo nko they I mean there are Muslim schools around enti ade na obe ha ho na wako school a ye ma wonye religious practices so any nya lawyer for obibri Hamza Suhini ono na ye one of the communications team member in the NDC cry said well sir issue it's not really about religion but it's about fundamental human rights enshrined in our constitution and a man for baby no and I can't wasem and I call you antwa e na dwen e de fa ho say sa niema we no and this is also because there are a lot of riots violence ekoso in some African countries even global ni nyina no was a result of sa eniema sa tolerance yempese ye be exhibit enti enra at the presidency ana His Excellency John Dramani Mahama twen adwesi sa asem so say na da kwa na wo say we issue if we say moi Peace Council for any these missionary schools so missionary school councils mo na mo signing memorandum of understanding say oh even though young kasano ye wo yen religious practices there so yen religious orientation there nanso no within school no ye be allow diversity say na be ye nuanom nso no o nso wo different faith no betimi a practice ene bi ene or the fasting no kra mfato ho say mo na mo twoye wo memorandum no say so on person me fast na o mo frɛ akwara na maame ne papa na ofo na mo mama ne se ko ba se parent na nyi ho de a ene mama ne nya na emom se parent na nyi ho de a o bitumi na however se parents no ene nyi ho na sela akwara na ye de a then the school must behave responsible. In fact o kan se mini pie mo mi entie His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ne se mini bia o kan ye after say Ushia a Peace Council.
We took note that somebody filed a case before the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is yet to pronounce on that issue. But if you read what the faith-based organizations agreed in their own MOU, I don't see any point of dispute. They all accept that if there's a mission school, it has its faith orientation. But within that faith orientation, there must be recognition of diversity. It's right there in the MOU. So I don't want to suggest it, but I think the Supreme Court has its work cut out for it because the same people have signed an MOU. And so I don't see what the contention there is. And there's even a place that talks about fasting. Because Christians fast, Muslims fast. You can find a Christian student in a Muslim school or a Muslim student in a Christian school. And it talks about whether they should be allowed to fast. And it says that yes, the student can fast if the parents inform the school that they want their ward to fast. And if there's any health consequences from the fasting, the responsibility shall be that of the parent and not the school. I mean, that's clear enough, So I think that is something that we can be proud of. And I want to congratulate the Peace Council for being the facilitators of that understanding between the faith-based.
Anyway, we oda omo ase say omo abwa ama omo ashepi sa faith-based institutions ayewo omen abusia aha Island TV se ne your first time wa be say obe subscribe na wa like video no na wa share na afoforo so enya bi ahwe ede amai